Okay, so I saw this thing on TikTok earlier today because I'm chronically online. So there's no Housewives episodes, so there's nothing for me to binge. Like, it's really bad. But this morning, I've never heard of this before, so tell me if you've heard of it.
Okay.
I was watching this TikTok, and some guy was like, he's like, have you guys heard about the Chinese buses? I don't know what the Chinese buses are. I actually didn't even Google it. No, I think they're buses, like it's almost like a Greyhound bus, but he calls it the Chinese bus, and they're like super cheap buses that like will take you from New York to Atlanta or like New York or Philly. He's like, it used to be $30 to go from New York to Atlanta. It's $130. He's like, it even got the Chinese buses. And he's like, people are like,
inflation got the damn Chinese buses.
And he's like, people are like, just take a plane, it's so much faster. He goes, I'm obviously like, I'm trying to bring my weed down to Atlanta, okay? I'm not flying with no weed on my, in my luggage.
TSA involved in this situation.
He's like, you bring it there. I'm not bringing it there. And I don't want to deal with having to find it there and all this stuff. And he was saying, he's like, honestly, like an 8, 10, 12-hour bus ride really is not, he goes, and those buses be like lit, like the back of the bus. I was like, oh shit. I was like, I get
why I'm picturing like a school bus just like painting a different color, like on its way.
Probably. And he was like, he's like, they like those Chinese buses used to be like filled to the brim. Like you would have to get your ticket, and then there people would be there waiting, like running, sprinting to the bus to get a seat. So I'm like, oh my God. So I need to look into these Chinese buses because maybe that's how I'll travel. It's $7 to get to Philly.
$7?
$7.
Shit. We buddy system. I'm going.
I don't have to go to Philly, but I'll go.
If we're $7,
for $7,
I got $7.
I'm going somewhere.
I got that.
Also on a bus. One time my dad made me to take the train to Newark.
By yourself?
Yeah.
I would throw him somewhere.
I was a young 24. And my aunt,
honestly, as a young 32, that's terrifying.
I didn't know a thing back then.
Fuck with traveling by myself.
Freshly grieving my mother on a flight to Mexico.
God.
So my aunt books us a flight to Mexico.
Yeah.
And like, I'm a spoiled bitch, okay? I'm getting dropped off and picked up from the airport.
As the princesses we are.
Like, if I find out I have to take a train, I'm crying, okay? This is not fair. I shouldn't have to lug my luggage on and off a train. That's just...
Yeah.
That's
archaic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so he did this. He drove into the city and dropped me off at Penn Station, like at the front fucking door.
He has some fucking audacity.
Fucking nerves, and then makes me take the New Jersey Transit to get to Newark.
You're going to sit here and tell me that our sponsorship does not have the means to be able to hand deliver you somewhere?
The mental capacity to drive to Newark.
What a man.
And this was 8 years ago. He was much more prime.
Keep that grudge, baby. Keep that grudge.
He should have been able to sit in a car for 15 hours 8 years ago.
When you're, 56, right?
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Another 30 years, 20 years, down the line, you make sure you whisper in his ear that this is something you've held on to.
Oh, no, in 30
By the
years,
way, Papa,
I'm going to make him take a train to JFK. I'm just kidding. He buys his own fucking car service.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's get into it, bitch.
Yeah, so, hey, welcome back, ghouls.
Did you guys show your IDs at the door? Welcome to the club.
Gotta love it.
The 30 and above club.
30 and above.
The strippers our ankles are weak, our backs are hurting. we dance barefoot.
We do sit down service.
And we're not in like those skimpy little, like I'm in like shorts and an oversized tee.
Please, a muumuu? Yes.
Hairs in a bun. Mm-hmm. This is practice rounds every night.
Greasy hair hidden in a beanie, and that's okay. That's okay.
That's okay. I have greasy hair slipped back in some gel.
Welcome to our club. Oh my God, I'm so sweet. In my little script, I said, how's everyone's week been?
It's Tuesday.
Oh my God, no, I know.
We'll post it on a Thursday. Okay.
Excuse me. Come on, get on down with the sickness. I got the wrong thing up. Why is it not?
Do you know what we're talking about today?
As it turns out, I do.
Oh, okay.
But I had the wrong one up. I had the Cecil up still. Ooh. Shout out to the Cecil. That one did pretty well. My last one flopped. And nobody cares about aliens, apparently.
Betty and Barney. I cared about it. I listened to it.
It was great. I thought it was great.
I thought it was...
Everybody that listened...
Banging.
Love you, Mina. Everybody that didn't, you're missing out.
You're fuck off.
Some good shit. Okay. And today we're going to be talking about Tony Costa. He was a serial killer in the mid to late 60s that terrorized the East Coast, but more specifically, Cape Cod. He was also dubbed by the press the Cape Cod Vampire or the Cape Cod Cannibal.
Okay, Edward Cullen, go off.
I do love a good alliteration.
The Cape Cod Cannibal. Cute.
Wasn't that fun? It was 1940. Oh, yeah, by the way, guys, this is graphic. But anyways.
Her head was cut off. Her breasts were cut off. Her hand was cut off. That sound.
It's literally the vibe. Actually, no. Seriously.
Okay, so just
Spoiler alert.
this is just a, what is that? A blanket trigger warning for the entire episode.
The whole thing. Because
She
baby
gets
girl.
into
She gets into it.
should,
I do.
Yeah, she does.
She, I.
She, I.
We,
them.
Okay, so in 1944, because apparently I just like to do way back when.
She's nostalgic, guys.
It's from my past, actually. If you didn't know, I'm a witch. Tony Costa, born Antone Charles Costa. I can't remember if we were talking about something, but listener, I went to the bathroom. We're coming back into it.
Yeah, we're back in.
We're back in. So it was in 1944. Oh, yeah, right. I like to do old things.
Yes.
Nothing recent. Clocked it. Born Antone Charles Costa in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I don't know what's happening with my mouth right now, but we're just going to let it go.
Cambridge.
Cambridge. What did I say? Cambridge. So he was raised by his mother, as his father had passed in World War II when he was an infant. And then there was a trust fund that was given, or a trust that he had, the father had, that was, I guess he was insured for $10,000. That today is $180,000.
I mean, that's not a bad amount of money.
No, it's a great amount of money, especially for the time.
Like, at all.
And that's, to me, I would say that it was kind of safe to say that that money wasn't an issue for the mother during that time.
Oh, so the family got $10,000 after he died.
Correct.
And you could, $180,000 for the rest of your life?
No, just for like not having to worry in the media. I'm sure when she does end up marrying somebody else,
out or like move back home.
Exactly. They're like already set up in their house because he was over there when he passed.
Rent was like $3
literally
a month.
Literally. Like they'll be okay.
How much is electric this month? A nickel. I wish.
Perfect.
I would go back in time and I would be a king.
Truly.
I would bring back money they've never even seen before.
Would be ruling the world.
I'd be like, this is a crisp $100 bill.
They were able to go.
I could just go to the 70s and I'd look like a king.
When I tell you about the people, like the hippies and shit that they talk about in this whole entire story, you're going to see like them. Some of these people are written off, and they're written off in such a way where like if it happened today, that the write-off wouldn't even be a question, to say the least. And then when it comes, like when I get to that point in the story, I'll point it out so that way you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But I was like, what if I lived back then? Well,
we'd probably still be poor.
And most likely murdered. There was a lot of murdering happening.
I would definitely be murdered.
My mouth.
I don't. Well, I do not keep my mouth shut.
My face. If my mouth is shut, I tell you right now, my face is giving it away. I cannot control my facial expressions.
And I almost never control my mouth. You should see me driving.
One thing I did find out was that when he was around 7 years old, it was recorded that he would claim a man was coming into his room at night. He eventually identified this man by a photograph, and it was a picture of his deceased father. A lot of that was written off. Like, they didn't really look further into it.
Okay, so sorry. How old was he when his dad died?
7. Oh, he was an infant.
Oh, so he didn't really know what he looked like except for pictures.
Yeah.
And now he's seeing this man come in his room, and it's his dad.
He's claiming to be his father. I just find that interesting.
A ghost?
That's what they all kind of wrote it off to be, is that it's just his imagination. One of the news clippings that I saw said that it was like just another sign of his psychosis. But I was like, I don't know. I feel like if my 7-year-old was saying a man was coming into his room at night, I would kind of dig deep. You know what I mean?
If my 7-year-old told me a man was coming into his room
whether
at
or not
night,
it was, especially if it was like a deceased father, but also like
just a man. Just a man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to figure out what that is, because it's probably not his deceased father.
I'm going to be dressed up as a teddy bear sitting in that fucking corner of the room.
I'll be the lamp in the other corner.
Literally.
Just like a black jumpsuit and just like a white thing.
Yeah. I'm not fucking around with that.
And
I just feel like
a man. We're like, whoa. No, I mean, you definitely need to question that, but what you think he like had psychic abilities?
No, I think that should have been that. Not like, I just think that maybe what if that was somebody actually coming to his room at night and abusing him, and that was what actually started his whole entire psychosis and like his whole entire mental like.
Right. Instead of saying that this is like, because you don't usually exhibit signs of schizophrenia at 7, do you?
No.
It's usually when you're later in life.
Yeah.
So they're just being silly.
Exactly. So I feel like
Silly and like dumb fuck kind of way.
That would give more of a reason, because like outside of that, he has a very normal upbringing. Like there's nothing crazy about what's going on with him in his life. And even
he obviously doesn't have a very normal rest of his life.
No.
He doesn't act normal.
He goes downhill fucking quick. Okay. I swear it.
I cannot wait. Okay, go.
Okay, so it wasn't, and then outside of that, there was just one other time. Oh, actually, no, that was it. Like it was just that one time that when he was 7 that people were like, But it's even to be said that when he was 13 years old, he was helping his stepfather, because at that time, by that time, his mother remarried.
Okay.
And he was helping his stepfather with keeping, and I quote, keeping books and handling correspondence letters and making out income tax for his father that he worked at, for his stepfather who worked as a mason.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was he doing?
He was like essentially
was doing bookkeeping.
Yeah.
He was making out income tax. So doing the taxes every year.
Yeah. 13 years old.
Oh. So he was just free labor for the stepdad.
Yeah. That's not crazy. I mean, maybe he could have been paid though. I don't know. They didn't really say, but.
No, it's not crazy.
I know, right?
Wait, what are you saying?
No, I'm saying like he had such a regular life.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's just doing chores. Mm-hmm. Like is what you're saying. It's a little bit more advanced than chores.
Yeah. Like
maybe
if anything.
Was he a smart guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I remember somebody saying his IQ was like either 147 or 197.
Oh. When I was younger, I thought IQs were like max like 10. So I said something once about like my brother having an IQ of like 5 or 6 or like one of us, right? And somebody was like, they would be dead.
It was like they just got the name right.
No, they didn't even get that right. I didn't know they went up like that. They
misspelled it.
I was like, I have an IQ of 4. They're like, no, babes.
You're close, but no cigar.
Okay. So normal upbringing.
Yeah, super normal upbringing. But it's once he's around 17 years old, that's where Tony essentially jumps into this like very psychotic sociopathic behavior. And it's quickly amplified throughout the years after. So the first incident when he was 17, 18, like that age, it was in 1961. He breaks into an apartment of a teenage girl. Mind you, a teenage girl having an apartment. Just want to speak to the times. That's one of the things.
And this was in Cape Cod?
Cape Cod. Teenage girl owning her own apartment.
Oh, he grew up in Cape Cod.
He grew up in Provincetown. Is that Cape Cod? I didn't look.
Is that P-Town? It's P-Town.
P-Town?
That's a very popular vacation town.
Yeah. They're like known for tourism.
Wait, that's so crazy that he grew up in P-Town. Yeah, it is in Massachusetts. Yeah. Because it's like a super touristy town. I've heard like Bowen Yang, and I think he's the guy from SNL, has a podcast. He was in Wicked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He likes to go there.
I've heard.
Where did we go? We went to for Emily's batch.
Cape Cod.
Is that different?
I think those are different. P-Town is a town. Provincetown is a peninsula in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to like drive on a bridge to go there.
Oh, you're right. Provincetown is in Cape Cod.
It is in Cape Cod. Okay. Because they have like Boston, and like then Boston has like sub-towns inside of there.
This is Cape Cod, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And that's P-Town. All the way at the tip.
Oh, the tip. So it's in here being the incident in 1961, like I said, was that the teenage girl who owned her own apartment, she's in bed, she's sleeping. She actually ends up waking up to him standing like over her after he's broken into her apartment, and he's just like watching her while she sleeps. So she ends up screaming her head off, rightfully so, right? And he gets so scared that he bolts.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
However, unfortunately, Tony couldn't stay away. As it was a couple nights after the fact, he breaks back into her apartment. And this time it escalates aggressively. So instead of just standing there above her, he immediately goes to attack her. She wakes up. She starts screaming her head off again. This time doesn't deter him. So he starts physically starting to drag her out of her bedroom. But because she's screaming so loud and she's in an apartment, her neighbors wake up. And I'm sure at this point they already heard that she was like somebody had already broken into her apartment. And they stop the attack. And he ends up getting charged with burglary and assault, and he's sentenced to 3 years probation and 1 year suspended sentence, and that's it.
How old was he?
At this point, he was like 18.
What?
Yeah.
There had to have been escalation that somebody's lying about. That's his first attack?
That's his first and second.
Well, first and second, but that was his first, like, physical attack.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
There's no record of him hurting animals.
Nothing.
Hurting small children.
Nothing on the internet that I could find about him and his youth outside of his father having passed when he was an infant and him doing his stepfather's paperwork when he was 13. And
very
that
weird.
One incident of him seeing somebody come into his room at night that he told his parent about.
Fucking weird.
Yeah.
She lived?
She lived. She was fine.
Okay, good.
I'm sure she probably like booked it out of there and went back home, but...
I mean, so she didn't call the police? Not to like...
No, she did, yeah. He was arrested.
No, the first time.
Oh, the first time? I don't know if she actually called the police and put in like a...
Reporter,
like a complaint or what have you. A lot of things that I tried to dig deep to within this case, I couldn't actually find, which was interesting. So I don't know if it's just because of the time that they didn't really bother with the paperwork. So... it just gets more and more crazy.
That was already crazy.
Yeah. So 2 years later, 1963, at this point, he was 17, 18. Now he's 18, 19, or 19, around 19 years old, right? So not even serving out his sentence, he meets a 14-year-old girl.
Okay.
Named Avis, and he ends up getting her pregnant. And while she's pregnant, they get married.
Okay, I'm okay so far. I'm not, but I'm okay.
Yeah. So pretty quickly their family starts growing. By 1966, it comes around. He's fathered now 3 kids, 2 boys, his last being a girl. Avis is quoted saying that with each birth, because it was a boy, girl, with each birth of her boys, he was disappointed. He did not want a boy. He wanted a girl. So the second time she gave birth to the boy, he was apparently super depressed from it. And it wasn't until her youngest, Nicole, came around that he was elated that he actually finally got a girl. And he was happy.
I mean, I can, like... understand, being super happy to have a girl and like maybe wanting to have a girl.
I can for a blip, right? So for a blip, if you're disappointed
you're allowed to feel for a blip.
Yes, because if you really truly have like this like painted picture in your head of like you having this family with like one sex and all of a sudden another sex comes and then all of a sudden another sex comes and it's not what you wanted or pictured. Okay, have that disappointment, but move on because you have a happy, healthy baby. And at this time, they didn't know what the gender was going to be until birth, right?
Right.
So...
like, don't be so visibly depressed and disappointed that your wife comments on it.
Like, she remembers it, like, years after the fact. Right?
That is weird. Mm-hmm. I'd be really, really
especially because it was, like, a girl. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fucking creepy.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
so I mean, you're not wrong.
I know.
So, obviously, with having to support his family, he finds work in carpentry, and he gets steady work there. He does, however, find himself entranced by the hippie scene and the drug use that comes with it, and he quickly gets himself involved into it. Not outwardly, where he starts dressing like a hippie and all that, but like just within the drugs.
Wow.
So, like, if you saw him on the street, like, you wouldn't think to look twice at him. You wouldn't even think him to be like this avid drug user.
He's corporate passing.
Yeah. I love that.
Okay.
But he gets so bad that it actually affects his marriage. And she's like, they want to break. Like, she ends up calling for a split.
Oh, is that how you do it? I call for a split. Judge. I was thinking
executioner.
Yes, that's so good. Split the head from the body.
Thank you. Yeah, so he was still quoted to be a little bit off from what the people in the local area would say about him after the fact, like when everybody was doing the interviews and such, and that you wouldn't really look at him twice, like I said. But by 1966, he's got himself into consistent drug use. And in the early 68, he actually ends up going to, this part's a little interesting. He ends up going to the police station and he tells on a guy that's been selling drugs in the area being an avid drug user, you don't really do that. But he did that because this guy that was selling drugs was an out-of-towner. So the locals loved him for getting a drug dealer off the streets. And then the drug users loved him for keeping the drug use local.
Okay. And this whole time he's not doing anything?
Like attacks and stuff?
Yeah.
This is when he starts back at it again.
Okay.
So
he
it's
gets
just a little bit more
and he goes a little crazy.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, interesting. That is
gets
interesting.
into heavy drug use and then goes a little crazy.
But that goes to show like how small P-Town is, that like he can do something like so minor.
Yeah.
That like I can't imagine something like that happening around here and people are like, thanks.
Would even notice.
Would even notice. That's exactly what I'm like, yeah, like, oh, you got a drug dealer off the streets. We don't even notice when cops do that.
No, because it's, guess what? 30 minutes later, somebody else is right there.
And the local one that like was at your house for dinner last night is actually the drug dealer. That little Jimmy you've known since the first grade. He sells fucking ketamine.
Yeah. So it's during this time of 1968 when the girls within the area start disappearing. Before we get into the meat and bones of the case, I do want to go back to 1966, where it's believed Costa had his first 2 actual victims. Okay. This is a little weird too. So the catch being that he was never really looked into after everything had come to head for him. That was sometime, I believe in the summer, that he brought these 2 girls, in the summer of 66, that he brought these 2 girls named Bonnie and William. No, Bonnie Williams and William.
Hey, William.
Hey, Costa. Hey, Tony. Bonnie Williams and Diane Federhoff, with explanation that he was going to help them hitch a ride to California. He was going to bring them, I think, part of the way, not all the way.
From Massachusetts?
From Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll drop you off at Connecticut.
I'll drop you off at the end of Cape Cod.
Yeah, seriously.
After some time went by, it became clear that Bonnie and Diane were missing, with days having gone by without any communication from them, and the 2 girls actually they never made it to their destination. They were reported missing, and police were made aware that Costa was the last person seen with the girls. However, when he was questioned, he told police, yeah, I did take them, but I dropped them off where I was supposed to, and I never seen them since, so.
Lying.
Like, what the fuck?
Like, okay.
All right. Yeah, but they didn't have any leads, and there weren't any reasons to keep interrogating Costa, so they let him go, and that was it for the 2 girls. I've tried to look up what exactly like happened, what else was the outcome for them, but there was nothing. And even actually one of the sites said that they ended up being found at a later time where another site said that they disappeared and that was it. You never heard of the girls again.
Well, Betty Williams
and Diane
Federhoff, if you're out there, let us know.
Please and thank you.
Imagine this somehow gets across Betty Williams' desk.
She's like, I fucking hate you guys.
She's like, I never wanted to think about that again. We escaped with our lives.
There was another incident I do want to touch on also before we get into Tony Costa's year of 68. And that's 1 year prior in 67 when he was in the woods near a place commonly referred to as garden, which was a small plot of land where he was growing and maintaining marijuana. And that was behind the Truer Cemetery, the old Truer Cemetery. But presumably he was out there while the girl he was friendly with was hanging out in the woods. A real quick mention I do want to say is that I got 2 different stories again on if they were hanging out together, if Costa just happened to see them, but he ended up accidentally shooting one of the girls with an arrow. She was fine. And she, in the moment, it was turned out to be an accident. But of course, when everything he did came to light later in life, that moment in the woods in hindsight was more than likely another sinister event at the hands of Costa. Imagine getting fucking shot in the woods by, by an arrow. Was shot?
Oh my God, no. How horrifying.
Yeah.
Behind a cemetery.
Yeah, he's like, my bad. Didn't see you there. Yeah.
Orange vest.
You know what serves actually is those bright orange hats, those beanies. You ain't ever seen them?
Oh, like a Carhartt one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that.
I love a Carhartt beanie.
It's just a nice little contrast.
Hi. A little hi here.
How
look
are
at
you?
me.
Okay. So now to get into 1968, I do want to say that Tony Costa was well known throughout the community to be someone that would commonly invite girls and women to check out his garden. That was behind a cemetery. This was something that he really liked to boast about and wanted a lot of the local hippies to know about him. When this information about what he did to the 4 girls surfaced, were genuinely surprised. The Life magazine article, the author's daughter actually had a summer vacation there, met Tony Costa, and she was also invited to go check out his marijuana garden, which she declined, but can remember how he looked and acted, and said based off of her interactions with him, if he's the Cape Cod serial killer, then anybody can be a killer. So before Tony Costa really dived off the deep end, there was a significant event that I already kind of touched upon that happened to him at his own hands, and that was his separation and divorce of his wife Avis, along with the aggressive drug use that he had. It was reported that because Tony had gone so deep into this drug abuse, whether it be LSD, also forgive me if I say some of these names wrong, amphetamines, barbiturates, methadone, hashish, solicin, Nembutal, and his constant always being marijuana. She also cites cruel and abusive treatment as another reason for the marriage coming to an end. And the wild thing, though, is after all this comes to light, right? In this Life magazine, I'm reading the article that they have on all of this. Yeah. They glazed over that, which is like, I guess for the time, okay. But like, I'm still like, what the fuck? How are you going to glaze over it? They actually go, this is a customary accusation, even in timid souls, in divorce actions in Commonwealth.
And all of the fucking abuse.
Yeah.
And the lack of knowledge of mental health.
Everybody wanting to do every single kind of drug under the sun. And also it's not always for
control, you. Well, yeah. Of corporate control of drugs.
Yeah. Yep.
War.
Oh, yeah.
The Vietnam War.
Yeah, that's true. So their divorce was finalized in August of 1968. With Avis deciding to separate from Tony, he then decided that he wanted to leave town and head out to California and live there. While he was there, he settles into San Francisco and he meets Barbara Spalding. The two begin to date fairly quickly into meeting, and during his time in San Francisco, which ends up being short-lived, he ends up trying out speed, and this drug just doesn't fare well with Costa. And he recalls at the hospital that it took him in, or after doing the drug, he went to the hospital, that he went there because the last thing he remembered was that he couldn't breathe, giving him the feeling of being suffocated, and he passed out from it. But before the summertime hit, again, in 1968, Costa was on his way back to Massachusetts, and when he leaves San Francisco, apparently, again, the stories are so like weird, is that Barbara either goes to see him one last time, she has an infant, leaves the infant with her relatives.
It's not his.
Not his.
Okay, and goes to visit him in P-Town.
Goes to visit him while he's still in San Francisco on his way out to go back.
Oh, okay.
And it's not clear whether or not she went there with the intent to go with him, to travel back to Massachusetts, to either be there for like a short stint, but even then you're driving and you're leaving your baby for like, I don't really see that.
It's like 6 days.
I mean, but I don't know people, you know what I mean?
No, that's wrong. Anyway.
And that's actually the last time that she's even seen or heard of.
Oh, so she's never seen him again. She's not seen on the road with him. She's not seen in Massachusetts, Cape Cod, none of that.
No, but there's also so there's 2 stories that go to it. One is that, again, she was later found alive. The other one is that on his way out from California back to Massachusetts, he was stopped along the way from a police officer. I forget what the reasoning was. It's claimed that the police officer said that he was very sketchy, and it's believed that he was sketchy because he had Barbara's body in his trunk. So it's hard. I wish I had like a little bit more clarity if she was actually found or if she was still missing. But
yeah, okay.
So now it's May of 1968. Costa being back in Massachusetts, like the Cape Cod area, and he ends up doing another crime, but this one is a victimless one, as he ends up breaking into a medical office, stealing about $5,000 worth of medical equipment and supplies, like drugs and such, which is worth about $45,000 today. And I believe he is not arrested for this. I think this just comes to light after the fact, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the hell? This guy's just like fucking shit up everywhere and just getting away with it.
Yeah. I think that was like a big downfall for him too, was that he was just so confident because like there's been no repercussions. Mm-hmm. So in late May of 1968, an 18-year-old local girl from Eastham, Massachusetts, she worked in Provincetown for A&P, and the day she went missing, she had left her bike leaning against the A&P building, but she wasn't reported missing until early June, as her family originally thought she decided to go to an impromptu trip to Europe.
Okay, how old was she?
18.
Okay.
Right, so I told you how they thought she went on an impromptu trip to Europe. In August of 68, as Susan Perry, who was a local Provincetown, she was dating Tony Costa at the time of her disappearance, which was early September. And Costa would claim to friends and anyone asking that she told him that she was skipping town and she was on her way to New Mexico.
A lot of people move around this guy.
Yeah.
Like a few too many people are heading out.
It doesn't end, by the way. In November, he was known to hang out with a girl named Christine Gallant, and it was common knowledge that the two would exchange drugs and do drugs together. But one night, she's found in her bathtub, and it's an apparent barbiturate overdose, and the cause of her death was that she drowned. Again, just as so happens, death and disappearance around this man.
Yeah, that's I don't love it, but
And finally, it's in January of 1969 where Patricia Walsh and a Mary Ann Wysocki decided to get into their VW and visit Provincetown outside of the tourism season because they were trying to find a good deal. And they actually do at a rooming house that was being run for $5 a night by a Miss Morton. $5 a night.
what a steal.
Couldn't find that now. It was January 24th. That was their first day into town. And as they were unloading their car, Miss Morton introduced the two girls to one of her other renters that were there on a more so permanent basis. And he helped bring the girls' luggage into the rooming house. And that person that was introduced to the girls was Tony Costa.
Are they moving soon?
So Tony and the two girls seemingly hit it off as Miss Morton discovered a note that was pinned onto the girls' doors the following morning on the 25th. Tony Costa was asking them if they wouldn't mind giving him a ride into Truro. I hate that word so much. The two R's really mess it up for me. Early that morning, it's later confirmed by one of Costa's coworkers that he was in the passenger seat with the two other girls in the car when his coworker was flagged down by Costa, and the coworker handed Tony his paycheck that he was holding on to that day until he saw him. This was around 12 to 2 p.m. from what the coworker says, and after their interaction, this coworker says he saw the vehicle with Tony still inside and the two girls, and they drove off headed in the direction of Truro.
But the girl was driving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, after that, the two girls ended up missing a meeting that they had with a... I'm going to edit the pause out, but there was an aggressive pause. Russell, they had an appointment or a meeting or what, I don't even know who this Russell Norton was, but they claimed it was an appointment, but it seemed like it was just like this dude that they were like going to plan up to meet up and hang out with, and it was supposed to happen later on that same afternoon in Provincetown, but it wasn't until the 26th that Miss Norton then found another note tacked to the girls' door that read that the girls were checking out and that they wanted to thank Miss Norton for her many kindnesses, and it was signed by Patricia and Mary Ann.
Okay.
Yeah, but what she did notice off the rip was that the note actually was the same paper that was used by Tony when he was asking for a ride into town.
You mean all right?
Upon further inspection, Miss Morton did see that the belongings of the girls had been cleared out of their rooms too. A couple days later, on the 29th, Costa goes to the local gas station and inquires about what they would charge him if he were to get a VW fully painted a new color. A couple days after that...
Wait, correct me if I'm wrong. One of those girls drove a VW?
Yeah.
Okay, that's suspicious as hell.
Yep. She goes... Then a couple days... This guy's so fucking stupid. But a couple days later, on February 2nd, somebody ends up noticing a VW that's parked a couple feet inside of a clearing into the woods in the Truro area, and that car seems to have been abandoned. But as it turns out, that same exact day, on the 2nd, Costa gets two of his friends, and they head out to Truro with him to the VW that he had stashed in the woods and enlisted them to help him drive it out to Boston. He then told these guys that the two girls just gave them her car because they were going to Canada and no longer needed it.
Oh, that's right. Canada is a super walkable country.
Oh yeah, for sure. You didn't know?
Like one into the next.
It's like the size of Sicily.
Public transit.
Yeah, that's it. And it's here in Boston that he starts asking around about how he can get himself a fake license fake license plates, fake registration. And then he also starts asking people if any of them are interested in buying a .22 pistol that he found buried in the woods. Of course, he wasn't able to get help for any of the things he was asking about.
Okay, he was just continuously rejected.
Yeah.
I love that.
And by February 7th, Costa, now being in Vermont with the car that he stole, the VW, he tries to get it registered under his name, which again, he wasn't able to do, obviously, but he does rent a parking spot to have it stashed there for the time being. It wasn't until February 8th, that next day, that Miss Morton ends up going into Costa's room and finds the belongings of Patricia and Mary Ann. And in the days to follow, an investigation and search is set up to see if they can find where these girls are. And Costa is clearly at the top of the list and getting questioned. With each story he tells the investigators questioning him, he's out of town, and he just keeps giving these different accounts of how he got into possession of the girls' items and what their last moments together were. A strange move that Costa does to do, and I believe it's a way to try and make it seem like these girls are still alive and well, is that he goes into New York City, sends himself a telegram, one that his mother picks up, and sees that it's signed by the missing girls, Patricia, Mary Ann, and she brings it right to the police, and the police got a hand of it. They were able to quickly tell that this telegram belonged to a number that Costa had access to.
He's an idiot.
He's so fucking stupid.
Like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to murder somebody, and then I'm going to drive 3 states over. I'm going to send a letter. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to send a fax.
Yeah. And then I'm going to ask everybody to prove this is the number that I have. And I'm going to ask everybody along the way if they could help me get some fake shit for this car that I clearly stole.
This car that I did not steal.
Yeah, that was given to me. It was about a month of searching. In early March, police, they end up finding a mutilated body at the Old Truro Cemetery, and that was later identified as Susan Perry. 2 days later, they uncover a grave 1.5 miles into the wooded area behind the cemetery. In the shallow grave, they find Patricia Walsh, Marianne Wasaki, and Sydney Monzone. The bodies of these girls were severely mutilated, dismembered, and had bite marks to their flesh, which gave him the Cape Cod Vampire name. There was prevalent evidence of bodies having had sexual abuse, along with deep stabbings and slashings. And in Marianne and Patricia's case, their torsos were skinned to where it was described that their torsos looked like a sweater vest fashion. Almost all of these things happened to their body after death. And Marianne and Patricia were also seem to have bullet holes in either the necks or head or both. And it was with this type of cruelty that they wasted no time arresting Tony Costa for the murders of these women. By July of that year, Costa confessed to only the murders of Patricia and Marianne, and is sentenced later that same month, where he is confirmed to have killed 4 women. But by 74, he commits suicide while in jail by hanging himself. So it's through these findings that I found a lot of discrepancies, like whether or not the girls that were found in the grave, in the shallow grave, had their hearts. That was something that was claimed that some places claim they didn't have it. There's some places claim that the coroner said that they in fact still have their hearts intact. And that was a reason that a lot of people were putting this like whole entire case up to satanic ritualism and the hippies and all that. And that's the wild fucking ride of Tony Costa.
What a bland ending for such a bland. It makes me think of what you said earlier when that girl said if Tony Costa is the vampire of Cape Cod, then anyone could be a serial killer.
Yeah.
Like that is, I was actually listening to something today, and it was like when you really think about the things that like happen to people, I feel like we're so desensitized and stuff. Like you really think about it, it really makes your gut turn.
Yeah.
Like their stomachs were skinned, and it looked like they were wearing sweater vests. Like
yeah, like he did some fucked up wild shit. And a lot of that made me think about when he stole the medical equipment, like if he was using that
that's
on
a good
the girls.
point.
Yeah,
that's a good point. And so it was 4, but how many missing people was he really probably responsible for?
There was 8.
There was 8, but he was only ever charged for 4 because those are the 4 bodies they found.
Convicted of 2, but 4 were confirmed. I think it was after death.
Oh, he admitted to 2.
Yeah.
He admitted to 2, but one of them was buried alone, and one of them was buried with 3 other bodies.
So the one that they found in the cemetery first, I couldn't find whether or not she was buried. Like I don't know if she was just like on top of the frozen ground or what have you, because it was like around February, March.
I know it's guys, it's January right now.
Yeah,
it's
but she went
freezing,
missing.
and we're in the same area almost.
She was one of the first girls that went missing. So I don't know. I don't know if she was just like
which
there.
One was that? Her name was what?
Susan Perry.
So he obviously kept the bodies for some time because he did things to them.
Yeah.
But was he living with his mom?
He was living at the rooming house.
Oh yeah, he was living at the rooming house. I'm sorry.
But he sent the telegram to his mom.
Yeah, he was living at the rooming house. He couldn't have kept it there.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, you did a great job. That was really disturbing.
Yeah, thank you. That was a wild ride trying to figure out exactly like the details and the specifics and all that. But he was so interesting to like kind of because I never really heard of him before.
I don't know if I feel like I've heard the term the Cape Cod Vampire, or something, but I don't remember actually listening to it, or if I did, it was so long ago.
Oh, you know what's funny? I like looking this up. Morbid, it's another podcast. Yeah. Fucking love them. They did an episode, which I'm sure I heard at one point because I do listen to them a lot, or I used to. They did an episode on the Cape Cod serial killer.
Oh, okay. Well, they're in Massachusetts, so that's like I'm pretty sure they're in Massachusetts, so it's good.
All right. So with that,
so sorry. Go on.
We will be catch you in the shadows and stay ghouly.